At the Lockmill Capital Company, trade processor Zara welcomes the new intern Myrtle. She gives her a tour and explains that the company invests pension money for corporations, government agencies, and unions. In the lobby, a mysterious group of people passes through security without issues. In the elevator, they put on gloves and pull out their weapons. Scott's also activates a phone jammer. They get off the elevator at floor 27, where they point their guns at receptionist Donnie. After covering his head with a blood-stained bag, they use a computer to turn off the security system. Then the group enters the office and makes everyone step away from their computers. They also make them drop their phones in a bin before sending them to the conference room. After the phone jammer is attached to the window, Leader London asks for the employees in the trade processing department. 4 people stand up including Zara, but she makes Myrtle stay down. When London asks why, Zara explains that Myrtle is new and doesn't know anything. London chooses Luke and Zara to go back to their desks and gives them a memory stick with 6 trades. Luke inserts the stick and points out that those are £4 billion in honest people's pensions, but London tells him to do the trade anyway. Since he's terrified, Luke is making lots of mistakes, so London presses his gun against his head. Meanwhile, 3 employees arrive late after getting stuck in traffic. They see glasses at the reception desk, so she pretends she's filling in for a sick Donnie. When the employees enter the office, they're immediately surrounded by the robbers. Their phones are taken and they're dragged to the conference room too. Once the trades are done, Luke gives the memory stick back to London. Then Scott picks people from the committee to approve the trades. An employee points out that the custodian bank holds the money and not the company, but he's ignored. After the committee approves the trades, Zara finishes the transfer process. Luke points out that the bank will call to ask about the strange movements in the account, so London says they'll wait for it. In the reception, an employee brings the mail. Glasses pretends to be Donnie's replacement again and gets her gun ready under the desk. Thankfully, he doesn't see anything and leaves. Minutes later, Luke gets a call from the bank and London tells him to pretend that the trades are normal. However, Luke has a breakdown, so Zara takes over the call instead. She tells the banker a story about new hedge funds from the manager, and the banker promises to get the transfer done today. After the call ends, London announces that the gang is staying in the office until the money is in their accounts. In the conference room, Donnie moves the drapes and starts making hand gestures at the people in the neighboring building, asking them to call 911. Yorkshire sees him and beats him up with his gun. Then he drags him to the bathroom and restrains him next to the other wounded employee. Yorkshire asks Donnie if anybody saw him, and Donnie says no. When Yorkshire returns to the office, he tells the gang that Donnie lied. Burley goes to the window to check and confirms that the people in the other building are watching them. The robbers think they should abort their plan, but at that moment they get confirmation that the money's been transferred. They send Luke and Zara back to the conference room and lock it. After taking back the jammers and hiding the guns in their bags, they leave the office. By the time the police finally arrive, the robbers are gone, so they concentrate on freeing the employees and taking the hurt men to the hospital. Soon reporters are in the area too. Detective Reese talks to Zara in private, but suddenly her nose starts bleeding. She goes to the bathroom and hides in a stall to try to calm down. She hears other employees discussing the possibility that this was an inside job and she smiles, revealing she was part of the plan all along. The next morning, Zara checks her crypto wallet and finds £5 million as payment for helping the robbers. She transfers everything to a hard drive cold wallet, which she puts in a plastic bag and hides behind the refrigerator. At the police station, Detective Ellie tells her team that facial recognition can't identify the thieves because they wore prosthetics. Since they also wore gloves, they don't have fingerprints either. They all took different means of public transport and disappeared into camera black spots. All tickets were paid with cloned debit cards. When Zara arrives at the office, there are reporters everywhere. In the lobby, a guard asks for her ID before letting her pass. She asks Luke to talk in private, revealing he was part of the plan too. Zara tells him about the $5 million and he's shocked, since they'd been promised only $100,000. She tells him to move the money as soon as possible to sever any connection to the gang. Their conversation is interrupted by Wayne, who shares that another employee was offered £5,000 by a reporter for office photos and gossip. Then Luke is called for a follow-up interview with financial investigator Darren, Ellie, and Reese. Darren asks if it's normal for the company to have $4 billion sitting in cash, so Luke explains that they were in the middle of a portfolio rebalancing, which is done every few years. When Darren points out that it's a big coincidence to be robbed on that rare day, Luke gets extremely nervous. Zara sees him through the glass door and gets nervous too, so she rushes to the bathroom to freshen up. Then Darren asks about the trade authorization, so Luke confirms that the committee had to do that. Since they only meet once a week, Darren thinks it's another suspicious coincidence. Reese reminds Luke that these thieves almost killed his co-workers and offers him protection if he wants to talk, but Luke has nothing to say. After Luke leaves, Darren tells the detectives that he'd target the trade processing team if he needed an inside man for a crime. Reese believes Luke is guilty and that he had an accomplice, but they don't have enough for an arrest yet. Meanwhile, Luke tells Zara that the police know it was an inside job. Afterward, all the employees must attend a trauma session. The therapist asks Zara if she has anything to share since she hasn't talked, but Zara says she feels the same as everyone else. Then the therapist asks Luke the same question, so he wonders if he'll ever feel safe again. After work, Zara tells Luke to call in sick with stress tomorrow. She also tells him to transfer the money to a cold wallet using a VPN and reminds him not to call her. Meanwhile, Reese meets with his superior Nichols to ask him why it took so long for the case to get a financial investigator. Nichols claims that they needed time to find the best one. Reese also criticizes him for not pressuring the company and the custodian bank to give them the account details, so Nichols says there are more important things going on. When Reese wonders what's more important than thousands of lost pensions, Nichols walks away. Later, Darren finally receives documents from the custodian bank. The money was transferred to a private Virgin Islands bank known for being a tax haven. Ellie asks if the transfer can be reversed and Darren says no. The money will probably disappear quickly, and Reese wonders if it's already gone. When Luke gets home, he looks out the window and notices that some cars have been following him, so he closes the curtains. Then he hides in his closet to transfer the money to a hard drive. After retrieving the hard drive from its hiding space, Zara visits her mother Haley and says she wants to repair their relationship. However, Haley thinks Zara is just going through her to-do list. An argument ensues, but they're interrupted by a knock on the door. While Haley answers, Zara rushes to her old bedroom and moves a floorboard to pull out a box. She puts the hard drive in the box and returns it to the floor. When Zara turns around, she finds Haley watching her, so she pretends she was just feeling nostalgic. Afterward, Zara takes the bus and gets a call from Luke. He explains he's being followed and thinks his apartment may be bugged. Zara tells him she'll be there soon. On the car outside Luke's apartment, Scotts and Sniper listen to the whole conversation and watch him check the lights for wiretaps. They agree he's a liability. Then Scotts takes a look at the other car and confirms it's a police vehicle. Sniper sends out Junior, who pretends to be a pizza delivery boy and rings bells until someone lets him in. Junior rushes to the garage and opens the gate for his teammates. In the meantime, Reese joins a poker game but ends up leaving earlier than usual. On his way out, he gets a call from Luke, who asks him to come to his apartment and says he can't explain why. Before heading there, Reese alerts Nichols, since he's one of the cops in the police car. Nichols sends out a guard to do a walk around. When someone knocks on his door, a terrified Luke looks through the peephole and sees Junior, so he doesn't open it. Burley uses a ram to break down the door and the three men rush inside while Luke hides in his closet. He waits until everyone is distracted to come out, but at that moment Zara rings the bell and Burley turns around just in time to tackle him. Luke stabs him in the shoulder with a screwdriver and runs away. Sniper goes after him, following the bloodstains he left on the handles. At the door, some tenants are coming out and Zara takes the chance to go inside. She tries to take the elevator, but Junior leaves Burley at the doors to keep them from closing. After retrieving the wiretap from the apartment, Junior moves Burley and they go to the garage. When the elevator finally reaches the lobby, Zara sees the bloodstain and runs to hide. Luke sees Sniper and runs downstairs until he reaches the lobby, only to be knocked down by Junior. Then Junior grabs Luke and Sniper punches him a few times before injecting him with a sedative. Everything is seen by Zara, who has a breakdown. Sniper takes Luke and Burley away in the car while Junior stays to steal all the security tapes. After he also leaves, Zara picks up the empty sedative vial. When Reese arrives, he catches Zara leaving the building through a window. While other squads look for Luke, Reese takes Zara to a cafe and asks about her involvement in the heist, but she denies it. Zara tells him that a terrified Luke called her, so she came over, only to find blood in the elevator. She claims she escaped through the window because she thought the criminals were at the door. Afterward, Reese goes to Luke's apartment and tells Ellie that Zara is obviously involved, so they should try to put her under surveillance. A flashback shows Zara and Luke drinking at the bar and complaining about all the money their bosses make while paying their employees minimum wage. Then Luke goes to the bathroom to consume some happy powder while sharing that some people he met in an online video game offered £100,000 for helping them hack a pension plan. Zara is wary, so Luke admits he's in debt, and they keep arguing until someone knocks on the door. When the duo leaves the bar, Luke asks Zara to help him again and says that if she keeps working this boring job she'll end up like her mother. Zara insults him and says she'll get a promotion. However, the next morning, Zara's request is turned down, so she tells Luke she'll consider helping him, but she wants to meet the mysterious criminals first. In the present, Reese takes the money he earned gambling to Matt, who threatens to sell his loan to sharks if Reese doesn't pay the rest of his debt in a week. Later at the office, Darren informs Reese that Luke had 7 overdrawn personal accounts with no unusual transactions, while Zara's account balance is low but clean. He thinks they should bypass the Virgin Island Bank and search for leaked offshore account details, although that information wouldn't be prosecutable. Reese authorizes him to do the search from his house. Meanwhile, Zara is following a tutorial to get a fingerprint from the vial. First, she has to go to the store to buy hydrogen peroxide. When she returns home, she finds Ellie with Secret Service agent Sam. They want to take her statement about last night, so she has no choice but to let them in and immediately hides the vial. Zara tells them the same story he told Reese, but Ellie points out that it doesn't match their surveillance team's log, which shows she was inside for 10 minutes. Ellie also finds it suspicious that she had her hood up in warm weather and that the cab that supposedly dropped her off doesn't appear on the security cameras. Zara says that the driver dropped her off down the street to avoid traffic and signs her statement while noticing Sam looking at her bag. When the duo leaves, Ellie tells Sam that Zara is definitely guilty and she has enough to ask for surveillance. However, Sam thinks she won't give them anything and wants to concentrate on finding the money or Luke first, so he'll talk to Nichols to cancel the surveillance request. At the same time, Reese visits Haley and tells her that Zara is involved with some dangerous people. However, Haley thinks Zara is too weak and scared to commit crimes. She also claims she hasn't seen her in months. After Reese leaves, Haley goes to Zara's room. Another flashback shows Luke and Zara meeting London and his crew. While discussing the heist, the gang assures them that nobody will get hurt and they won't be implicated. When the gang leaves, Zara pays a cab to follow them. She sees their car stopping at a warehouse and one of the robbers going inside. In the present, Zara manages to get the fingerprint from the vial. Meanwhile, Darren shows Reese the account where the money was sent. They were all registered to a shell company called Gould Simmons. Reese recognizes the name of the famous defense contractor and tells Darren to leak the details because their bosses won't do anything. Darren explains he found this information very easily, so the Secret Service probably knew 10 minutes after the heist. At the police station, Ellie tells Reese what happened with Sam. It feels like they're pulling her away from Zara, so she thinks both Sam and Nichols are involved in this mess. Reese tells her to act cool because he'll take care of it. In the evening, Zara goes to the warehouse and waits until two men come out to sneak inside. She then searches the rooms until she finds the security cameras and shows off the vial, leaving it on the desk. When she's about to leave, she's found by a guard, who wants to know why she knows this address. Zara runs away and trips over some boxes before she manages to get out of the building. Soon a car starts following her, so Zara enters a crowded pub. When two men come after her, she leaves through the back door. She sneaks behind a car to stay hidden and starts running as fast as possible to finally lose the men. After getting on a bus, Zara calls Haley and asks her if she can visit her now, but Haley says she's at work and tells her to come tomorrow. After she hangs up, it's revealed that Haley is at home. At the station, Reese asks Nichols for the truth. Nichols takes him outside and explains that some powerful people are threatening him. He tells Reese to find an excuse to quit the case because he can't guarantee his safety, especially because of Reese debt problems. Zara goes to her mother's house anyway and is startled by Haley, who tells her she's already taken the hard drive. Haley wants some money, but Zara explains she needs the hard drive to leave the country and promises to pay her later. However, Haley doesn't believe her and an argument ensues. When Haley tells her to think about it and call her in a few days, Zara says she won't be alive then. When Zara gets home, she sees someone in her apartment and some men down the street, so she hides behind a car. At that moment, Reese shows up and takes her away in his car. Zara complains about the robbers following her, but Reese corrects her, revealing that those were Secret Service agents. If they catch her, they'll torture her for information. Zara wants to know what's going and threatens to jump out of the car, forcing Reese to park so they can chat. He explains that the Secret Service blocked his request for surveillance and that his investigation was set up to fail. Zara finally admits she helped with the robbery. However, she had been told that the gang would hack the accounts, and she had no idea about the heist. The duo goes out for a coffee and Reese convinces Zara to team up with him. Then she takes him to the warehouse and she waits in the car while he goes inside. She finds Reese's wallet and reads the details on his ID. At that moment, a white van parks nearby. Zara blows the horn in fear and the van drives away. Reese immediately comes back and after making sure she's fine, he explains that the warehouse has already been emptied. Afterward, the duo walks down a busy street and discusses the possibility of a member of the investment committee also being involved in this. Reese stops at the ATM to withdraw money and Zara notices he only has £212. He asks if she can get the notes from the committee meetings, so she explains that they're on a network drive and only committee members have access. She'll try to get the passwords from the secretary. Reese gives her some cash and tells her not to use her credit card or phone. At a hotel, Zara rents a room. Before Reese leaves, she gives him the fingerprint. The next morning in a remote farmhouse, the gang watches footage of Zara dropping off the vial and London scolds Sniper for leaving evidence behind. In a room upstairs, Luke hears every word. Suddenly Sniper drags him out and brings him to the kitchen, where the gang asks him what he told Zara. Luke swears he only told her the necessary information and Sniper kicks him, but Luke insists he didn't do anything. London wonders if they can trust her. At the lab, Reese convinces a scientist to run the fingerprint without reporting it. At that moment he gets a text from Matt reminding him he only has 6 days left to pay. Afterward he meets with a friend from a bank to ask for a loan, but he's told his chances are almost zero. Later Ellie shows the team a picture of a burned vehicle they've found on a farmland, which appears to be the one used to kidnap Luke. Reese goes to see Nichols and Sam, who have received information from the newspaper about the money's location. It seems Darren did secretly leak the information. Nichols sends Reese and Sam out to investigate, telling them to be careful. At the office, Zara asks Kate if she can use a committee office because her desk has bad memories, but Kate sends her to a different desk. After working for a while, Zara approaches the committee's secretary pretending she has a question. Then she acts like she has an upset stomach, so the secretary goes to get a biscuit. Zara takes the